Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. Today in this video, we are going to see Angular services with API call, like HTTP API call, basically, like how to call any HTTP API, that to be your own API or any other private or public APIs. So we have like how we have to call that. So we are going to see in this video. So not private APIs with public APIs only. I'm going to show you the example. So when it comes to private API, you have to pass that keys, authentication keys, right? So let it be aside. With interceptors, we have to add any extra properties to an HTTP request. So let's keep it aside. Just see the public APIs how we have to call by using services. We have already seen in the previous video, like why we use services to share the same information among the components. Like it's a great way to share the information among classes or components we have. Like we have seen any class we set as an service by having the decorator at the rate injectable. So we have seen the previous examples, like this the different kinds of directive decorators we have, like we have seen all these things. So let's see the basically about HTTP API calls, like how we have to call any public API. For that purpose, I'm using a free API which I can google and we can find it, right? JSON placeholder is a website where we have typecode.com. So this is a URL for that website where we have so many APIs. In that, I'm selected this to do's API. So you are getting a list of like arrays like user ID and title, and that list is that the task is completed or not, true or false, like completed property. Like we have 200 records in this list. I just want to use this API and have to display in my Angular application by using this HTTP API call, by using services concept. So this is services we can use as utilities. In the previous example, I have shown you like same information, maybe of a property or any normal property or string type or any array type or any method, how we have to use in services we have seen. Now we are going to see like how we can make a HTTP call, so that can be that result can be used by all the other components also. So let's see how to make an HTTP or API call by using services. For to show you practical purpose, I using this website, that is a stack-based website where we can create any JS environment within milliseconds. I'm using this. So creating any application that will take us so much of time if we are in a local mission. So I'm preferring this tag-based so that you can create any application within milliseconds without any installing any or downloading any dependencies. Everything will be predefined or pre-downloaded or pre-installed. So Angular application is started. See, you can see within milliseconds. I'm just removing the parts which are already present. So we have default app component, which you already know. If you have created in a workspace also, this will come automatically, right? I'm just adding some p element here, so to as in HTML to make you understandable. This is a API all with services. Like you can see the output within seconds of time. This is called hot reloading. Whenever you change, the output will comes here. This is the output where we have a console also. So let's see this with an example. Like I want to show you services, right? So I'm just adding Angular generator. I'm just clicking on service. So it will ask you the name of the service. What I want to give a name as a service is API. Like this is an API service. API is the name of my service. So API service is created for me. At the rate injectable is a decorator that will tell us this class is a service type of class, which will add that will make this whatever what we can call it as, it will create your object at a root level. Like whenever the application is created, that will create automatically your object. So no need to create each and every time whenever you call this service, no need to create object. So it will be injected in all the components. So to make it injectable at a root level, so to create an object at root level, what we have to do is you have to add this property in injectable type, that is it will create your object at a root level so that will can be used in all other components also. So in the previous video, app services, I have like services concept, I have explained everything in a clear manner about services, how to use that. In this I'm only going to concentrate on API call, like how to make a API call with the URL and how we can use that in the components I'm going to show you. So this is the first thing you have to remember. If you are going to create in your normal system by using Angular CLI, these things will automatically come as a boiler code. But now in this stack base, you won't get this provided in root, such kind of things. I am only adding this thing. So if you are using stack base, just remember this point, like provided in root. So next, one more thing what we have to do is in services, if you I am just creating one method like get a to do list. Like to do list is the one method which I have created here. And sorry, so this is a method which I have created here. So I want to return something. Let it be written. I want to return something there. So what I have to return is the JSON response giving by these things. So for that I have to get this URL first, right? So I have to call that URL, right? So I'm just making one variable which is called URL, that is equal to, which is of a type string. So I have given this URL here. We can assign the string type also. This is a TypeScript, so defining data type is very useful. So I'm just to get this HTTP call in services. One more thing which you have to add is private HTTP object, that is HTTP client you have to add. Without HTTP client, you can't make a HTTP request. To get this HTTP client, what you have to do is in this related module only, you have to import that module also, which is a HTTP client module. So without getting that module, you can't use that. This HTTP client module you have to import in your app modules wherever you are using that thing, services kind of thing. So API service is there for me. So now client I have added. So how you can get the JSON response, or how to you can call that thing is this dot. So this dot what you are telling is this dot URL, sorry, this dot HTTP, like the private now. So where we given an access variable as private means this method will only use this kind of thing, like that HTTP dot. So this variable we are using HTTP dot, what I want to get is get URL we have to give. So HTTP, you can see it will tell you post and all those methods are present. Let's see get only API call, because this is a just JSON response it is giving. So URL, sorry, this dot URL you have to mention, like, so this URL, I'm just calling HTTP call for this URL. The response will be in the form, you can just hover it, you can see the response of this is in the observable type. So in this Angular, you have to know one more concept called as an observable. So this is not like a normal data like form. It is one kind of format. So to change this kind of format, you have to subscribe this data in all the components to make it as a readable content, like JSON responsive content, like was list or any kind of content you have to modify it into. So now we have defined services. What we have done, we have given a URL, and next a dependency injection of HTTP client. So to get this HTTP client, first we have to add the HTTP module here in the modules imports. And next what we have done is we have created one method which is returning the list response getting from this URL. To get that response, what we have done, this that HTTP call we are making with the get thing, get the HTTP call we are making and with this URL. So now response is in the form of observables from this method. So I want to use that method in app component. So in app component, what we have to do is first we have to get a constructor, because injectable will create, like service will create an injectable class only. So to use that, we should add in dependency injection will come here. So we have to similarly private is an access modifier we have to use here. And any variable type you can give. This is an API, right? API, normal thing we have given API service. So this is the constructor. You can call this in the constructor itself, or outside the constructor also you can call those methods like this. So I'm using that within the constructor itself. So this dot API is the object. From that API, what I want to call is a method, this method. So that method I'm calling, and a result is coming in the form of observables. To make it, to change that it, we have to subscribe that result. So that the format of this is, we have to any data coming from the result, we have to use lambda expressions for that. So data, so data, what I want to do that with the data is, I want to store it in any variable so that I can display it in the front end. So for that, what I'm doing is, I'm just adding one variable. This is called a to-do list. So the to-do list of any type, I'm just defining that variable. So I'm just adding the data which is getting from this response into this variable. So data, so this dot to-do list is equal to data I have given. So brackets or everything is closed, right? So this constructor bracket and next method. So this is all done. So now the data coming from the API call, we are making the service coming into this return. So from that return, we are getting into this app component, into this variable to do list. So this is of list type, right? So for that purpose, to make it displayable in this UI, we have to use a list kind of thing. So li I am using. So in li, what I want to display, I want to mention in that. So this is of list type. So I am using ng for, I have already told you about all these things in the directive concept structure directives or any other. So let, we have to mention any like to do item, right? So of item of what is the variable for that, that is to do list, like what we have mentioned in the ts file, we have to take that variable name. So item list of to do list. So this is fine, right? Now in that bracket, I have to mention that variable name, like item. So you can see, so item is the object where variables in that we have to mention. So item object you can't get, individual items you have to get, that is id. The first user id is there, id is there, title is there, completed. These are the properties which we have in that. So first one is the user id. You have to know that names to, in order to use that, right? So user id is the first parameter. li, you can see this is an order list. So li will be there, and after what you want to print, just print it in line wise. So next, I'm just adding copy pasting. After that, I will change the properties names once I completed this thing. So next user ID, next ID we have, next we have title, and next completed thing. So I have given all the things, right? So user ID and title and completed. So all these things of four properties I have given. So you can see the responses here, right? If you are not able to see this, you can expand this URL also by just calling that URL in the separate page. You will get a response, same response in the other page. You can see user IDs and all these things are present. For one user, you have a 20 IDs with that these things. So moreover, we have 200 like IDs for all this. So like this, you can make an API call from the Angular application so that you can display that in any format. You can add any stylings also, like all the stylings or applying all the things I have explained. Whenever I'm making a big project, I will add all those things. So if you're going to do those things also in this video, it will become so lengthy. So I'm explaining in the main concept only, like how to create any app service, like API service where you can call HTTP requests, like HTTP all requests we can do it in the service level, so that we can use that JSON data, so that data, and we can subscribe that in each and every place, so that you can display that in the particular view or template related to that component. So this is all about a API call with services HTTP call. So this is all about the thing. First thing is you have to mention the URL in the service level, and next you have to like initialize like dependency injection of HTTP client, and you have to use that property to the get function or post function anyone. Like this, you can see like instead of to do list, like if you give one, just see here, if you give a slash one like id, you will get only one record. So that thing also I will show you. If your URL is like this, you are getting response in the one format, so you can also get that thing. So this is not a list format, this is a one data only, right? This is of any we have given, that is fine. In the HTML view we have to change like instead of ng, what you have here is ng for, right? So no need of ng for. You can directly give the variable name here. Instead of item we can give to do list only. See, ng for these things are not needed. See, API call with services what we have doesn't exist on the type of app component. It's there, right? Something is missing, no? So here I we have given. So to do list title is there and completed status is there. So what's wrong with this? To do list item where we have, sorry, this is mistake from my side. Here you can see only one item we have got here. So one item, you are getting the first item which is user ID and title. If you change the URL likewise, you will get any type of service. You can also do post and get any kind of things here. So sixth record I have got. So based upon ID, we are fetching here from all these responses. Or unlike if you want to get all, you can use that URL also. So this is all about services HTTP API call. So I think you have understood, and subscribe to my channel for many more videos like this, and share this with all your friends who are at learning stage of Angular. So I have done so many videos related to Angular still now. So go to playlist and check out all those videos, that will definitely help you. And also I made HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Azure, all kind of things. Links are in the description. Go and watch all those videos, that will definitely help you at any point. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.